One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads. I'm feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take them chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free. Free.
They're back.
What up, Doe? What up, Doe?
8 days later.
Right, 8 days. Yeah, sorry about that yesterday. We ran into some technical difficulties. And this internet connections be messing up all the time. But I think we got it all cleared up now, so we should be good to go.
Yeah,
but
don't even worry about it. Us content creators go through that shit nonstop. Sucks.
Yeah, it was just a pain in the ass, being the fact we was, showtime, and it wanted to go in and out. You see
That's
how
when
many
it happens.
on it. You're right.
Yeah, crazy.
But so 8 days and went by. Here we go. We're back again. Archbishop Mike Ball. We got Aaron Olinger, and this is the Dominant Effect. So before we get started, just like we do every week, we go through, check out, see what everybody done for the past 8 days, and then we're gonna get this story cracking. So what you got, Aaron? How was your week, brother?
Oh, it went pretty good. I didn't go in and do any gun shows or anything because my show got canceled, and then the one for this coming weekend got canceled also. So I'm a little overstocked on inventory and nowhere to go until next week when the Dayton show happens. But I just been following news reports around the world, and every day it's something, it seems like. So it's hard to keep track of everything, but and almost puts you in a position where you almost get stressed out and carrying all that stuff on your mind. But I like being informed, so I'll stop there.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, Aaron, I'm with you on that. It definitely is stressful, even though let's just say that for a lot of the media, that we watch, I'm not living in it in the actual whatever they're talking about, but with the immense amount of knowledge of just sitting there trying to study the aspect, because I like to be informed as well. It is stressful. It is very stressful. So I'll definitely second you on that. Now, this week it's been a little bit slow, at least in the just everyday life out here in northern Alabama. It actually snowed for one day. One day it snowed, and we got like 2 inches of snow, and then it was gone the very next day. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was my first time ever dealing with snow. Where I lived, I've been to the mountains millions of times, but actually living in snow, kind of different. So. It was only a single day, though. Not too bad.
Yeah, we ain't getting no snow here, of course, but
yeah, you're not going to get it.
Well, actually, they are talking about it's some kind of polar vortex that's supposed to come this way, and it's supposed to drop the temperatures down real low.
That's
and
what they were kind of saying. What happened to us?
Right. I think
that's crazy.
I think you're gonna be a part of this one that's coming up this weekend.
The 22nd or whatever it's supposed to be.
Right. They're talking about the temperature supposed to drop down super cold and might be some freezing rain and stuff like that. So we're going to see. I mean, they said it ain't never happened here for, they said like 20 years it hasn't happened here. So we're going to see. But like I said, of course, they've been, we're going to get into that here a little bit later too. But they've been playing around with this weather quite a bit.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Right. I know, up north, they were talking about the snow, and it's not having the same consistency, and it's having this like powdery residue to it.
Oh shit!
Then they've been talking about the fog and all these different places. People have been getting respiratory sickness and stuff like that off of the fog. So it's it's a lot of stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? And I think probably with that snow though, with these big huge winter storms that's been coming through. I mean, it kind of make you think it's a little extra being done up there. They dropping some salt down in them clouds or something. They're doing something, man.
They're doing something with their shit.
Right. Yeah, they doing something. But as for me for the week, same old, just work. Work.
Hey, man.
Always. It seems like that's all I get done is work, man. Like I said, I got a couple new ventures popping up that I'm gonna get into. So like I said, we got standing on business that's done. They should be, I don't know when they're gonna have to do the red carpet on that, but it's gonna be probably here within the next I think like maybe March or something like that. But I got 3 more ventures that I'm jumping on. So
damn. So I mean ventures as in like movies.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah,
so
now we're talking.
Yeah, so I got 3 more that's gonna go down this year. So I'm gonna be a little busy. Not too busy that I'm not gonna be able to do this show, but I'm gonna be busy nonetheless. So between working and doing that and doing this show, I'm gonna be.
You're already a busy dude.
Yeah,
shit.
Right. I'm already busy as hell as it is, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more.
That's good shit though.
What you say though, you know what I mean? In order to get somewhere you never been, you gotta do something you never done. So
wow, that's a good saying.
Yeah, so we about to jump into it and see what happens. You know what I mean? But I'll keep everybody posted along the way.
Good. Especially in the Diamond Effect group chat or group on Facebook, If you guys aren't interested, if you guys don't know, there's a Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, about the Diamond Effect. You just type in Diamond Effect podcast and boom, it pops up. Make sure you get in there. It's a great place that we keep in contact with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it also gives you a chance if you got information that we don't know, you think we should know, you can drop it in there.
Yep.
Drop a link. You can go on the chat on there. You can send us an individual message or whatever. Sometimes we don't see stuff. So if you see something that you think we should be talking about, You got a link or something for us? Shoot it to us. Let's check it out.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a lot how like I get my information. Same thing. People will be just direct messaging me, "Yo, did you hear about this?" And I'm like, "No, man. Like I have not heard about that." And then I dig into it and holy shit, there's a humongous story, you know. Um
Mhm.
the guys in the chat, the ladies, the men and women in the chat, they're just as much as journalists as we are. You know, they're constantly looking. I watch it. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. So so this week we're gonna jump into this this wildfire that happened in California, which was devastating.
Extremely.
It's it basically burnt what was it, over 37,000 acres.
Yeah,
Was
it's
burnt.
unreal.
I don't think we've seen anything of that magnitude. You know, of course, you had the fire that was in Colorado, you had the fire that was in Maui, but this one here was above and beyond anything you could think of, to the point that they had over, was it 15,000 firefighters? They brought in firefighters from Mexico, brought in firefighters from Canada, air support from Canada, to be able to tame this fire.
Right. I remember when they said that there was 1,500 and they were running out. And
Right.
then they got up to 1,900 and they're like, okay, so everybody, we're going to the public now. If you guys can help us in fighting these fires, I'm like sitting there going, what the hell is going on here? They're asking the public for this shit at 1,900 firefighters, which is a lot. Mind you, that's a lot of firefighter. But now we're up to like what, 15,000? I thought it was crazy at 1,900.
Yeah, they brought in 15,000 firefighters to be able to tackle this blaze. Now, they said that they have it contained now, but you know, like over in, remember when they had the big fire over in Colorado? Like they had it contained and then it was basically put out.
And then it came back.
Right. Then like 5-6 days later, it came right back.
Well, and that's the issue as well is I'm sure that, as you know, there isn't just one fire in California, you know, I mean, like there's 4 majors and, you know, and then there's like all these pop-up ones that keep on happening magically. Actually one popped up a couple of days ago from where I moved from. I was like, oh my God, like, and that area is about 2 hours away from where all of that shit is going down. I'm going, what is happening? Like, are we just having people just come out here just being arsonists? Like, what is happening?
Right. You know, there were some reports that they were saying that they had seen people with fire gear on starting fires.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
now with that one, I was questioning because you know a lot of times when firefighters are putting out fires, they'll start a fire to control another one.
Yes. Yes.
So I was wondering, is that what you seen, or did you actually see somebody out there like, you know what I mean, like actually committing arson? You know what I mean? I didn't know exactly how that one went because I know.
Well, you
I know
wouldn't
that
just
goes
see
both
one
ways.
firefighter. You wouldn't just see one firefighter doing it. You'd have a whole bunch of them, you know, getting, you know,
True.
controlled burns are a thing, you know.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. But I don't think I'm gonna play this one here. It's a real quick one, just to it's like an aerial view,
Sure.
to show how
The
bad
devastation.
how
Yeah.
bad this really is.
Well, you're seeing this moments after I saw it. The clouds just cleared, and I can tell you this is the most devastating event that I've seen. I've seen the earthquakes, all the fires here over the last 30 or 40 years, and we've never seen anything like this. This is Pacific Palisades, and the fire went through here, and it just took out thousands of homes all the way down to the shoreline. I mean, to describe it, really, it looks like a war zone. Now, the winds have died down a little bit right now, so they can make some progress, and as I mentioned, the smoke just cleared. This is the first time we're able to get in here and see the destruction. That's the village in Pacific Palisades. But as you can see, row after row after row, every single home burned right down to the foundation. Fortunately, this fire, we're not hearing about any fatalities. The other fire out in Altadena and Pasadena, we've had at least 5 people killed in that one. Fortunately, everyone got out of this, but look at the devastation. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's hard to describe how bad this is.
So real quick on that, AB, We saw the destruction of that, and I have the real quick stats of it. Fires across the LA area have killed at least 27 people, and I happen to know one of the people that died there, which is crazy. And ended up dying. She was 91. Anyways, destroyed more than 12,000 structures. We're talking homes, buildings, all sorts, and charred more than 60 square miles. The Palisades and Eaton wildfires continued to burn today, and this is reported an hour ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they did say that. They also was talking about two people out of that 26 that were actually Hollywood actors that had succumbed to the fire. One, his name was Roy. Let me see, Rory Sykes. He was a child star. He did a show called Kitty Capers. You ever heard of that show?
Mm-mm.
It's like a British Australian type
Okay.
kid show. But I guess he was living in the family guest house, and the guest house was like on the further end of the property,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't have any communication back on that side, and he got trapped in.
Holy shit!
Got
You don't
trapped
have
in the
a cell
fire.
phone?
Obviously, what the report said, it wasn't he didn't have any kind of communication back.
That's crazy.
And then there was another one by the name of Dulce Curry. She was in 3 different movies. She was in Lady Sings the Blues Brothers, and the 10 Commandments. She was 95, but she succumbed to this fire as well. But we're looking at widespread devastation here, and what I want to kind of get at in this conversation is there's been several act of God type accidents that have went on in the past few months.
Right.
So, okay, so you have this fire here. Previously you had the fire that was in Maui. You had Hurricane Helene that trampled North Carolina.
Yep.
Also parts of Florida.
Milton.
Yeah, Milton came right after that. But I think Helene was worse because of what all it did up north.
Totally.
But it kind of seems like once you start looking at all this different stuff, these are anomalies that doesn't usually happen.
Right.
So without a little intervention, little help. So I want to talk about this fire, but I also want to talk about not only the fire, but the other stuff that's going along with this. Because, like, as of right now, they're saying that they don't know what actually caused this fire. They said that it was a fire back in New Year's Eve, and it seemed like it came from the same place. It's what they're saying. But it's a lot of other stuff that's going along with this that's making it not seem like an accident.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things about it was the fact that you got these insurance companies that jumped up and canceled fire insurance for all these people a few months ago. So, number one, why would you cancel that insurance? 2, why do these insurance companies think that they have, so much right? Okay, I'm paying you for insurance to protect my home, and you pick and choose whether you're going to protect it or not, whether you're going to cover it.
Right.
They did the same thing here in Florida when the hurricanes came through. They started going through canceling people's policies, taking off the flood insurance, different stuff like that to keep people from having, so they couldn't claim on those houses. Now, in North Carolina, same thing. They didn't have flood insurance. You're in the mountains. Now, mind you, what actually flooded there is usually not a river that actually floods like that. I have property not too far from there. So usually that little spot is not like no big major Rowan River that just, just floods and just takes over everything. You know what I mean? But it did. I mean, so with some help, because, when we was talking about these hurricanes before, we were talking about the fact that they were cloud seeding during that time. And they were also using HARP, and they was also using those lasers that was clearly showing on the radar screen that they were using. But what are they getting out of it? So, in North Carolina, of course, they wanted their hands on the lithium, which was underneath the ground, which, you have BlackRock and a lot of companies that's been there for the past few months, basically trying to buy these people out cheap.
Like Tesla.
Yeah, buying them out super cheap because they know, okay, it's wintertime, your house is gone, what do you got? You know what I mean? Take this little bit of money here, which they giving you well under fair market price, taking you just to get their hand on your land. Same thing happened in Maui. Because you remember during that time, they wanted to go through and they wanted to build all those resorts. And the people didn't want to sell. And all of a sudden you have this fire
land grab.
Wiped out everything, and they come right behind. Hey, sorry for your loss. You don't have fire insurance, so insurance not going to cover it. So how about we just give you this amount?
Right. Land grab.
Right. You go on about your business. Land grab. This one here is kind of showing the same thing. It's kind of showing the same little characteristics there.
Totally.
Now you had this fire, yes. And yes, it did burn up a whole lot of property, but it's something funny with that. And I'm gonna say, hold on, man. Let me pull this up real quick. Just take a look at it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You ain't got to take us off of it. I'm gonna
right, I saw it.
I took the volume off just so that you can just leave it on here. Now you notice that the same path that fire took is the same path that they're trying to do that high-speed rail system. The exact path.
Interesting.
So it's basically like this fire just helped us out because it just cleared out all this acreage that we need anyway. So
Palisades especially, I mean, that's prime real estate. That's right there on the water. I mean, you're not, this is not just a normal LA area. That's especially for Palisades specifically.
Right.
I could see that being a big land grab because that property alone, just the actual property, not the homes and stuff like that are now decimated. Honestly, the government or any other company wouldn't give a fuck about no structures. They want that land. And going real quick into that insurance ordeal, there's a couple of weird things regarding these insurance companies, such as State Farm, which was the last company. They weren't the only companies to start dropping. They were just the last people to do so. And there's a little bit of nuance here. The insurance companies tried to sit down with Governor Newsom, I call him. And unfortunately, he was unwilling to do it, And so with that kind of response, the insurance company said, well, we see an issue that's, we have a water supply issue, we have electricity issue, feeding the pumps, and that's exactly what fucking happened. It's unfortunate, but it is kind of true. Now, real quick, I wanted to bring up a source. So the California's, just California with the recent reports indicating a total dwelling coverage exposure exceeding $392 billion. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that's how much they're in control over, or like how much they're insuring, but representing and combined value of all properties insured under their policies. However, they are reported to have limited reserves around only 200 million and rely heavily on reassurance to manage significant risks. Now, this also brings us into So Allstate, for an example, was approved to increase homeowners insurance rates in 2024 in California by an average of 34.1%. It's the largest premium increase for a major carrier in 3 years. Now, there's a couple of different things there. I think that the insurance companies were using, they're kind of running with it that, first of all, Newsom isn't willing to sit down with us. And so we're just going to, this is what it's going to cost us to do business here. And meanwhile, they're saying you can't, the government's saying you can't be raising that high. And unfortunately, now we have a void because they said, well, screw everybody. Now we have 70% of those people, those homes that were destroyed, 70% of them are right now not covered at all.
70%.
70%.
Yeah, so so that's a clean sweep then.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep.
Yeah, so you just go through and you pay everybody below market price for it.
Absolutely.
Of course they're gonna take it because they just lost everything.
They lost everything. There's nothing else there. What are you gonna do with it?
And then the rest of them that do have insurance, they're gonna jack the rates up so high that you can't afford to get it. So that's the same thing that they did here. Governor DeSantis passed this insurance bill, which that was one of the things me and Big Bone was up in Tallahassee fighting against, them trying to raise the rates on these insurances. And not only were they trying to raise the rates, but they were trying to take stuff off of the actual insurance. So they were doing something along the lines of like there's a no helmet law in Florida. So you don't have to have a helmet when you ride a motorcycle.
Right. But you have to have insurance, right?
Right. But you have to have insurance. So let's say, for instance, that you dropped your bike and you messed up your leg. So the first question they're going to ask you is, did you have your helmet on? You'd be like, no, I didn't have no helmet on. I don't have to have a helmet on. It's in Florida. Well, they would deny that claim because you didn't have your helmet on, even though it's not a law for you to have it. And then they went over top of that. So where, let's say that your policy only covers, say it's an accident, it'll cover $50,000 per individual that was hurt. Okay, so that's all they get. So whether you lose a limb, you in the hospital, you have to do all this other stuff, don't matter. You can lose both arms and both legs. You only getting that 50,000. That's it. You can't come after them after nothing else.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So they ended up signing it, and then of course they jacked the rates up. So, usually every 6 months or so, you're ready to go up a little bit. They were doing it where your rates was going up like every other month. So within like a year's time, my insurance just on one vehicle, my insurance went from like $130 to $285. And it was like every other month it was going up. Yep. Every other month. And it was still, it's still going up. You know what I mean? And then when you call and ask them about it, they was like, well, it's inflation. Bullshit. There ain't no inflation.
Not that quick.
Right. Inflation don't have shit to do with insurance.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't have shit to do with insurance. But that's what they were doing. You know what I mean? So eventually, you got to spend all this money over here, then every company that has to deal over there, everybody's rates everywhere else is going to go up to make up for the money that they got to give over here.
See, but how can you take all this money and work as a business, right? As an industry? They're the only industry I know that gets paid to not do their job. They do everything they can to not do their job, to not cover you, that's insane to me, especially when you're sitting there paying hand over fist cash. Like, how is that acceptable? Especially when your shit's all the way completely burned down to the ground. You've only got a piece of foundation left, and they're going, nah, you don't qualify. You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
Right. Especially after they went through. But like I said, who tipped them off to the point that they was like, okay, dude, we need to go through and drop this fire insurance on everybody? Like, you think like they got like an inside tip or something? You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're about to do this. Y'all might want to cancel them insurance if you don't plan on paying it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what it seems like. I got a quick little 2-minute one here that's talking about these insurance.
These wildfires could be one of the most expensive natural disasters in U.S. history. The state facing an insurance crisis that has already left thousands of Californians struggling to find and keep affordable homeowners insurance. ABC's Christian Cordero in Pacific Palisades.
Tonight, many homeowners affected by the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles taking their first step toward rebuilding their lives, filing an insurance claim.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
But as too many Americans know, getting compensated can be difficult. And in California, the system is facing a crisis years in the making. Insurance premiums soared after the Camp Fire in Northern California's Butte County in 2018. At the time, the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in the state's history. Several major carriers have since restricted fire coverage or stopped writing new property insurance policies in California entirely. State Farm, California's largest provider of homeowners insurance, announcing in 2023 it would stop accepting new applications from California residents, citing, among other things, rapidly growing catastrophe exposure. With insurers pulling back, thousands of California homeowners have been left without coverage.
These insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance.
The California Insurance Commissioner issuing a one-year moratorium to protect homeowners.
I'm also calling on insurance companies to suspend any pending non-renewals and cancellations that homeowners received before these fires started.
This problem isn't unique to California. An investigation by the Senate Budget Committee finding that climate change-driven extreme weather events are leading to increasing non-renewal rates and spiking premiums across the country, particularly in Florida, Louisiana, and North Carolina. The report suggesting the insurance crisis could lead to a housing one, with echoes of 2008. Saying this is predicted to cascade into plunging property values in communities where insurance becomes impossible to find or prohibitively expensive. Climate change is no longer just an environmental problem, it's a looming economic threat. Whit, a spokesperson for California's FAIR Plan, the state's private stopgap fire insurance program, says they are aware of misinformation spreading online about their ability to pay claims. But they want to reassure homeowners that they have prepared for disasters like this and intend to keep their commitments. Whit.
Christian Cordero, thank you.
You know they ain't about to pay that.
You're right.
You're right. Exactly.
Not the cap.
Mm-hmm.
No. Now, you know, the sad part about this is that, you know, there's people that don't work their entire lives paying for them houses, building those houses. Now, I'm not talking about the movie stars that got their third and fourth house there.
Right.
I'm talking about the regular average Joe Schmo that works a regular 9 to 5, has his home, paying mortgage on his home, and your insurance is drop coverage. You lose your home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happens to that home payment?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so are they paying the mortgage payment? Are they
Hell
paying that
no.
off? You know what I mean? Exactly.
You got to go bankrupt at that point. Like what? Because of that whole ordeal. Now, here's the thing about that, you know, and it's something that really grinds my gears, you know, when people are going, oh, well, it's a whole bunch of millionaires in California, you know, they just buy a new house. Listen, for a lot of these people in California, I speak for Californians, okay? I mean, I just moved out of there. Majority of us in California are one paycheck away from losing our fucking houses. You know what I mean? So it's like, imagine being that person, being one paycheck away, and then your shit gets burned down, and then you don't even have insurance. Now what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what? I think that if you cancel my fire insurance and you're not going to pay me for my home that just got destroyed, you should give me all my premium money back for the whole time I've ever been.
Everything that I paid.
Yeah. Everything I done paid you, you should be able to give back.
No kidding.
I mean, because you still got to pay for this property. Even though you don't got a home on it no more, you still got to pay for it.
You made a contract. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, that's the whole point of when you buy a house, you buy insurance to cover the house. So if anything goes wrong, insurance cover the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pay it off or whatever you need to do. But that's going to leave, I mean, think about it. You got all those thousands of people that have lost their homes. And if insurance doesn't jump in and do the right thing and fix this, now what? So what, you just gonna have a couple, what thousands more homeless people? Or you gonna have, you know what I mean, sitting here having to pay for a mortgage on a house that's on the ground?
No kidding. I mean, we're talking 12,000 fucking structures. I mean, that's a lot of money to the banks, man.
That's right. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on this, Aaron? You've been quiet tonight. What's your take on this?
I've been waiting on a chance to get in here. I want the people to understand there was 5 fires going on. You had Hearst, Bedia, Eaton, Sunset, and Palisades areas were all on fire. Now, as of tonight, they're all in the dark. They shut the power off. Some of the power lines that were down were still live. So all those areas are in the dark. If you look at a map right now of that area, the few areas that are lit up are people who had their own generators, or the police and fire departments and National Guard units that's got safe zones set up. Those are the only areas that are lit there tonight. Now, possible source from videos that I saw that people took, some people claim that DEW was used, DEW, which stands for direct energy weapons. Some people are blaming the smart meters that were installed years ago, and some of those created fires years ago because they exploded. That areas were covered with drones not too long ago when the fire started, so there could be a possibility of drones. I saw videos of overloaded power lines that actually caught fire and melted the insulation off of them and was creating a problem. And then there's people who believe it's lone wolf attacks. Remember, the first week of this year, we had 2 lone wolf attacks, one in New Orleans, the other one up in Vegas. They did arrest one guy who was wearing a fireman's uniform that was setting a fire, and then they arrested another arsonist, and they feel that these could be a continuation of lone wolf attacks. Now, is there a reason? Sure. I mean, you can create the smart cities that they have destined to go to anyway, 15-minute cities. Also, if you put in better homes, that means higher taxes that you get to take in for revenue for the city. The average person will not be able to afford these homes. I mean, look at New York as an example. Everything is rented. Nobody can afford to buy there. That might be their plan for California. The high-speed rail system that you show, that's actually true. It's easier to take it through an area that's burnt down than to have to apply and through eminent domain try to create easements for that system. And as far as those insurance companies canceling those policies, man, the federal government needs to take them into court over that mess. Because, I mean, in other areas, the government has filed charges against companies price gouging. So if you can price gouge and get hauled into court, why can't you be hauled into court for canceling somebody's insurance ahead of a fire like you had some sort of advance warning?
Yep.
I mean, they should be threatening them people with putting their asses in jail over that stuff. Now, you got Henry Winkler, you got Elon Musk, you got Mel Gibson. I mean, Henry Winkler is saying that he's got a whole arson theory, and his house did burn down. Mel Gibson, whose house burned down, he's saying it's done on purpose. Elon Musk, who doesn't have a house there, he's calling it a giant land grab right now. Then you've got the residents that are complaining. They want to know why it took so long for help to come. I mean, fires at nighttime, you can see them because of the light they give off. During the day, you can see them because of the smoke. So there's no way that fire can sneak up on you. You can see it. And then these fires have been going on for how long now? And the residents want to know why they take so long to get help. And I can understand that. I mean, wasn't FEMA supposed to be there to handle this? I mean, it is a disaster. Where was their manpower? Where was their help? They're supposed to be heading up the National Guard. Now you got National Guard there guarding against looters, but you got 2 types of looters right now. You've got gangs that are moving in and looting, and then you got people who saw the fires as an opportunity. They went to the local costume stores and they got fireman uniforms. They rented police uniforms. They rented and bought paramedic uniforms, and they're blending in with the first responders, and they're looting homes. So, I mean, that's a crime of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Then got two arsonists that are arrested. They're being charged with lone wolf crimes right now. They got help stations set up, but most of the help stations are being manned by private citizens, passing out water, food, clothing. I mean, they're stepping up. Where's the government at? Why isn't FEMA setting up those help centers? Then the fire hydrants going empty. I can explain that.
Mm-hmm. Please do.
From what I saw, the water towers, the pressure to the fire hydrants come from the water towers. The higher off the ground the water is, the greater the pressure. When a house or building burns down and it collapses in on itself, it usually breaks some of the water lines. People, and we've said it on our show and on this show in the past, that if a disaster is getting ready to happen, you know it's coming. You shut off your gas shut off, the main shut off in your house, and you shut off the water. That way you don't get an overpressurization of gas or whatever in your house and cause your house to explode, but you shut that off. Those people were supposed to shut those shutoffs off when they left, when those houses collapsed. And like, for example, they say they got 40,000 buildings that are now gone. Just dealing with the buildings, not dealing with the homes. Each one of those would have water running nonstop. And pretty soon the water towers run out of water or get so low on water that you got no water pressure to man a fire hose with. And all those homes that collapse on themselves where people did not, you cut off the water at the main shut off, that water is just free flowing. And then pretty soon they don't have no water to put out the fire with, which resulted in them having to go to the ocean. Now, the reluctance of the fire department to use salt water is salt water is corrosive to their pumper trucks. That's the reason why they were so reluctant to use it. Now, given a choice between no water or salt water, of course, they would have to go with it, but it's going to corrode those trucks pretty bad using that salt water. Then there's also the issue that people said, well, you can't put salt water on the land because it's going to kill all the plant life out.
Oh, my goodness.
From what this fireman said, you'd have to flood the land to create so much salt on the earth that it would kill out the plants. And if it was to kill the plants, it would only be for a 2 to 3 month period.
So fire doesn't take out the plants?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Right. Right.
But they claim
Why you
that,
worry about water when fire gonna burn it up anyway?
Yeah, I mean,
well, it's just like when Troy was invaded and they took down the walls of Troy, they went and salted the earth so that the people couldn't live there no more. Well, you would have to have an awful lot of salt water to create said situation and create more of a desert environment. So it's crazy that people were along those lines of controversy, but given the choice between using salt water or no water, salt water is the obvious choice. And like you said, they had to lease equipment to come in from Canada to stow water scoopers and stuff. Again, where was FEMA? FEMA was supposed to allocate resources to a disaster. Where were they at? Why aren't they salting the clouds or cloud seeding to cause it to rain?
Right.
I mean, if it was to rain, you would have a major way to control and bring those fires under control. They're not doing any cloud seeding. And then those fire scoopers that are coming in, then you got helicopters dropping fire retardant material. They got 40 helicopters on hand. You mean to tell me in the entire United States, all you could come up with was 40? You probably got 40 right there in the state of California. And then you don't have no super scooper planes. You got to lease them from Canada. And they just got down there this past week. I mean, the coordination of resources here on the part of FEMA is amazing. I mean, every time they come up to bat, they seem like it's their first time ever doing something. And I don't get it. It's like amateur hour each and every time something comes up.
Yeah.
They should be well experienced by now and know. And then going back to 2022, whether people know it or not, LA County gave away a lot of their firefighting equipment to Ukraine because
Yes.
Ukraine needed it because of the war. And of course, people say to me, well, Aaron, well, they're expecting to get new equipment. Did they get new equipment? Because as of today, I saw the fire chief or the head fire person, the lady, they kept pressing her. Did the government fail you? Did the government fail you? She finally said, yes, they did fail me. We do not have the necessary equipment on hand to fight these fires. So there's a lot going on here. You can go with conspiracies, but the facts is they have fires every year. They should be well experienced on how to handle this. And even when you said 15,000 firefighters, for the level of devastation is, they should have had 100,000 there. They should have had 200,000 people there. You got National Guard sitting on their butts here in the United States. Why didn't you call them up? Why didn't you bring them there? You got prisoners in prisons. I mean, other countries and even Canada uses prisons to help fight fires. Where's the manpower at? I mean, how much skill do you need to take a shovel and shovel dirt onto a fire?
Right. We do have a lot of, believe it or not, we do have some prisoners right now doing this whole thing, and they're getting paid $10 a day.
Right. And people, and you got volunteers. I mean, people living in that city would be willing to help fight those damn fires to protect their homes. So, I mean, 15,000, and that fire did, those 5 fires did what they did. What if you had 100,000 on hand? Could you put them out a little quicker? If you had the equipment you needed and wasn't running short on stuff, could you put them out a little quicker? When a fire breaks out, the sooner it's put out, the better. And I don't care what people say. There's one thing that never takes a day off and never takes a vacation, and that is responsibility. And the government and the people who Newsom and all them failed in their responsibility to handle something that happens each and every year, multiple times a year at that location. And I'm gonna stop there.
Well, you know, FEMA already claiming that they didn't have any money anyway. That's why you still got people in North Carolina that's still struggling right now. That, you know, we didn't have these cold spells, these polar vortexes, whatever they call them out, these big mass snowstorms. You know, Aaron, because you was a part of one of these little snowstorms. But you got people out there in North Carolina still sleeping in tents in sub-zero weather. I mean, you got a couple of children. Hold on one second. You got a couple of children that done passed on dealing with this weather. You know what I mean? And, you know, not to mention the box job that it was going on in North Carolina anyway. So you know it's going to be a box job over there as well. But go ahead, Aaron. What was you going to say?
Okay. Going to North Carolina, Hurricane Helene. 126,000 homes destroyed, 104 confirmed deaths from the hurricane, $60 billion in damages. And that's in just Western North Carolina alone. I'm kind of affectionately nicknamed it the forgotten disaster because nobody seems to be thinking about those people out there.
Right.
Right now, you have a computer chip company in Massachusetts called Macron Technology Solution. They're getting $345 million. Now, $165 million is their own money, but they're getting a $70 million grant and under something called the Chips and Science Act. I never heard of such a thing, but apparently it's fully funded with money to give to these companies. Then Biden announced himself plans to provide $750 million in direct funding to a company that's already based there called Wolfspeed. $750 million. Now FEMA says they just recently approved $213 million for damaged homes, debris removal, and reimbursement of emergency protective measures for the state. They delivered 400 trailers, sheds, and they had, I think it was close to 4,000 to 10,000. They were cards. They called them FEMA cards. They were to be used to provide temporary housing at some of the low-level motels. and they've got tents out there, of course, for people to live in. Those people are going to get hit with an Arctic blast called a polar vortex this coming weekend, and they're in tents and sheds and 1-person or 2-person trailers. To me, that's ridiculous. The people right now want to know, how long is it going to take before we get any money to rebuild our homes? Now, FEMA approved $213 million. Will they get that right now? Nope. How many months will it take of bureaucratic red tape before those people see that money? But the Macron Technology Company and the Wolfspeed Company, they're getting far more money, and it's coming right now to them. So you could clearly see that the people are being forgotten about, where big business is being fully funded here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
Now,
here,
okay, now I'm gonna give you a quick little thing on FEMA, and I'm only gonna talk about this because I know it for being true, because I went through it. Now, back during Katrina, Hurricane Katrina and Rita. Rita came right after Katrina. At that point in time, I was a supervisor for the power company, and we sent, we had power company crews there from all over the country. That was all there. Now, most of that money that FEMA is spending, is not going to the actual people that actually need it. A lot of that money is going to the people that's actually going there. So I'm gonna give you an example. So when we got there, they had this one area that had this, man, it had a tent there that was so big, like you could fit 500 people in this tent.
Damn.
Fully air conditioned, whatever. We had semi trailers there with everything that you could possibly think of. You had every soft drink, Powerade, Gatorade. We had a semi trailer with cigarettes, semi trailers with ice, semi trailers with different sets of clothes in it. We had laundry facilities. We had shower facilities. We had 24-hour caterers. We had all that. Now,
that's insane.
They paid us time and a half for your first 40, then double time for every hour after that. You had 16-hour shifts.
Oh yeah, you're making so much money.
Monday through Sunday, 16-hour shifts. But out of them 16-hour shifts, we only worked 5. We worked 5 hours out of them 16 hours.
Hell yeah.
And then the times that we didn't have to go out there and work, and they was like, okay, we're gonna just have your group come over there and just pass out ice. So I got a crew of 22 people. I got them sitting over there passing out ice and shit when we should have been out here. But we just taking turns. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But you making bank hand over fist.
Trust me, when there's disaster, there's so much money to be made.
Hand
it's unreal.
Over fist. When I left there, I did my time for Katrina. Then Rita hit right after then, and I ended up going to Texas, down in Beaumont, Texas, and did the same thing. I was there for 17 weeks. Them 17 weeks when I came home, because I didn't have to spend no money because everything was there. Everything was there. We didn't have to spend no money for shit. When I came home, in my bank account, I had $72,000 in my account.
Yep.
That I had made for them 13 weeks.
Killing it.
In New Orleans and in Beaumont, Texas.
Isn't that crazy?
That money goes now. I just think if that was just what I made.
Right. You as a single yes.
That ain't counting everybody else that was there. Like I said, it was hundreds of us there.
Yes.
Now they end up having the National Guard come there and all that stuff because, of course, you had some dummies while we up on the power lines. People want to shoot at you and shit while you're trying to get the power lines up. We had to have National Guard there and stuff like that. But I had one guy that his only job was to drive me around. And he made double time the whole time he was there.
Oh, my goodness.
The only thing he had to do is wherever I said I wanted to go, he drove me there. That was it.
And then you just made crazy bank.
Exactly. All that money ain't going to the people out there.
No.
It's going to
guys like you. Yes. And me, I did the same
else.
shit. I did the same shit, but on a different scale on shipping. Like when there would be a ship out at sea that would shut down, I'd have to go save it, because I was the tugboat. And so when you start doing a disaster like that, you're making so much money, like right there in like a matter of like 2 weeks. It's unreal. You know what I mean? It's absolutely unreal.
All right. Oh yeah. See, that's why people don't mind going to work FEMA jobs, because they know that they're gonna get paid out the ass.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's like
Now, you only
the
giving
base is
people
like a super
$200.
low amount, but then all of a sudden you go out on a actual mission. Now you're making way money.
Right. Right. And you only paying these other people, okay, we're gonna give you, you know what I mean, $750 or whatever, and then you're gonna pick and choose who you give that to.
Right. You're
Because all
still
your
gonna
money,
decline motherfuckers.
right, all your money's over here. You know what I mean? Like I said, we had 24-hour caterers. 24-hour caterers.
Yeah, that's
we eat
crazy.
lobster tail and steak and shit, everything else. You know what I mean? I was taking food trays to other places.
Yes.
Giving them to
Yes.
people.
When I was
Taking
responding
water.
to oil spills, it was just like that.
Doing
When
the
I was
same thing.
responding
I
to
was
that
loading
shit,
my truck
oh
up
my
with
God.
soft drinks, giving them to people out in the street where I was at, because they didn't have it, but it was loaded over here on this end. You know what I mean? So like they sit there and talk about, oh, okay, well, we're going, you know, we're allocated $200 million. Okay, so out of that $200 million, people ain't going to get shit. They probably getting about maybe 3 total. Rest of that shit going over here, because them companies, they don't mind sending people down there to do this shit, because they know FEMA gonna pay out the ass to do it. They're gonna make that money off of that.
Oh yeah, big time.
So now you got this stuff going on here now. They talking about the smart cities, for instance. Now we talked about smart cities almost a year ago.
Yeah, long
almost
ago.
a year ago, we've been talking about smart cities.
Yes.
Because they started it over in the UK and how they were going to do it, how they were going to set it up, what that whole deal was. It's funny now that we start hearing them talk about smart cities here. It was like, hold up, wasn't we talking about?
We were just saying this shit. Yep.
That's what they was going to do.
That's following on the right side of history right there. You know what I mean?
Right. Like we've been called it. We've been telling them that's what they was going to do. But it would be a whole lot easier to do it right now when don't nobody got shit.
Yep.
Everything burnt to the ground. Hell, it'd be
1000%.
You can easily do that now, and they would go for it simply because what else they got?
Right.
That's what happens. You put somebody in a situation that they can't get out of, you know what I mean, and you give them an offer that they can't refuse. Most of these people here, I guarantee they're going to sell their property now, especially over in the Palisades area, because there were houses there that they was talking about that older people had bought back in the 60s and 70s. That they probably paid $12,000-$15,000 for, that's worth now over $500,000. You know they're not gonna get that. They ain't gonna get nowhere close to that, because these people know, like, okay, number one, I'm not gonna be able to rebuild because insurance ain't gonna fucking pay me. 2, I gotta get this. I still gotta pay for this house, even though my house is on the ground. They're gonna offer me this. Okay, I'm basically gonna take this and hand it to the mortgage company to pay this off, so that way I don't owe nothing. And then whatever I got left, I can scrounge up to try to find something somewhere else, if that, and then still try to figure out a way to get on my feet. You know what I mean? So when you talk about a land grab, and you know, like, to me, this was not no act of God. This was some bullshit. This is something somebody had already set up, and they've been playing for it. That's why that mayor, when they were sitting there asking her questions, she couldn't say shit, because she knew it was bullshit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a hot motherfucking take, and you're right.
And let me add this to what you said, Bishop. That's the reason why in the information I presented, and I said the responsibility was there. Either these people are that incompetent, or this was a planned thing that they executed. Now, why did it spread so fast? That 50 to 100 mile an hour winds was the main reason. Why did those people die? Because as I saw videos after videos of people saying they didn't leave because they've seen it all before. They're so used to it happening that they waited to the last minute.
You're right.
And cars got backed up. Police were running to the cars, telling people, get out and run from the cars before they explode. And traffic was so backed up because they waited till the last minute, they couldn't get out. So that was ridiculous. They waited that long, but because they're so used to it, they didn't see no need to leave until the fire was damn near coming up toward their houses. And then I feel sorry for the people who have special needs, or elderly on walkers or wheelchairs, because when they were told to bail out and run from the cars, those people don't have the ability to bail. What about those that were bedridden? Did they get them out in time? Or did they get left behind because they had no mobility? I mean, there's a lot of people in these homes that hire private nurses and stuff to come in. I'm sure when that shit was going down, them nurses weren't coming there to get them or do anything to help them anymore.
Real
I mean,
quick,
I feel sorry for people to lose that mobility. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to show real quick. This is from this fire that we're talking about in Palisades. In real time. Listen to this guy.
Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. All right. You're gonna be okay. So where's the gas? Outside. Okay, the gas is off right now.
I have no idea if they made it.
Hmm? No, don't open the window. Don't open. Don't open anything. Just stay over here.
That's unreal.
Like, that's insane. Yeah, that's unreal. Unreal.
And people don't realize it, but smoke inhalation will kill you before the flames get to you. So those people there, as soon as that glass broke, they'd have been breathing pure smoke with hardly no oxygen in it. I would almost venture so they probably didn't make it.
It looked like to me, when he was panning around, like, people are saying, get out. Like, what are you doing? Of course. But the problem is it looked like they were surrounded.
They're surrounded.
You're surrounded. You can't get out. And that's exactly what happened to the woman that unfortunately passed, that I knew, was exactly that. Her house got surrounded. And you can't, then you're fucked. You're fucked. You can't do shit. And then you go to turn on your fucking water and there's no fucking pressure. And you're like, okay, this is how I go. Like,
and let me read one thing. You have evacuation levels. In the green, level 1, you be ready. You be aware of the danger in your area, monitor the media and emergency services for information. But at level 1, you could leave if you chose to. Level 2, that's orange level. It's called be set. Pack to leave at any moment. People with special circumstances or needs should consider evacuating now. That's on a level 2. The level 3, which is red, is go now. You leave now, you are in immediate danger. Now, those levels were being announced on the radios and stuff to people. I mean, I'm not staying around for no red level, and I may not stay around for the orange level. I may already leave. But I mean,
People
it's time to take a vacation and go somewhere. I mean, part of prepping is having that emergency fund handy at your house that you can pack up and leave, go somewhere and come back a week or 2 later. That's when it's time to go.
It's the
Waiting
same
for the last
thing.
minute.
It's the same thing with these hurricane victims. You know, I actually got really pissed off at my brother Beezer in the chat because they're telling his ass to evacuate and he wasn't evacuating. He's like, he's on FaceTime with me. He's like, yeah, dude, this is the same shit we deal with all the fucking time. And I'm like sitting there going, dude, fucking leave. He goes, nah, I ain't going nowhere. Now, this is unfortunately the result of that is most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's probably bogus. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. And then people, they're like, well, why? See, we have a track record for 30 years not evacuating, and look, we're still fine. You know what I mean? And then it's that one fucking time that it's out of control. And this is a prime example of that. And so when I was reporting the very first day of the California wildfires, I go, listen, if any of my viewers or anybody watching here right now, if you guys are watching me right now and they're telling you you're asked to evacuate, you better fucking evacuate. You know, I was like, for real about it. Like, do it. Listen to them. Yeah. Crazy though.
But don't you think it seems weird? Like if you look at the map of the U.S. right now. You see, like the western side,
Yeah, fire. The other
fire.
side, all
On
snow.
this side, everybody freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't it crazy though? I mean, like you seen these, usually when you seen like storms and stuff that come across the Midwest and stuff, you notice it because it comes from the Pacific. It goes all the way across.
Correct.
You've
It
been
goes.
seeing these?
It cuts right through.
Cuts right through. Have you
Yep.
noticed that these storms they've been coming from the Gulf, coming from Texas, coming up this way?
It's insane. Yep. I watch that shit. Like I geek out on that like kind of stuff. I put that kind of stuff on my TV. That's what I'm watching. That's why people are like, hey, you watching this movie? I'm like, nah, man. I'm fucking involved in like watching the news and how crazy this shit is with not only our weather, but the world news in general. I mean, it's hour by hour right now.
Right. Yeah. This stuff is going on the outside, especially like, and I was telling you about that fog
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago. I was out in this fog, and I was like, man, it ain't never foggy over here. Where does fog come from?
Right.
I mean, and it was thick, real thick fog. Mind you, wasn't no water around, anything like that usually fog come up off the water. But no water. It's never foggy in this area. I mean, but this fog was super, super thick. Like you could barely see in front of the car. It was so thick. And drove through it. And then after that, for like the past 2 weeks now, I done had this cough for the past 2 weeks. Coughing, spitting up shit.
Here we go.
Else for the past couple of weeks.
Jesus.
And it's been a lot of people here in this area, especially here, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. They all been complaining about this fog and how they all ended up either with pneumonia, RSV. It's a couple other different ones that was coming out.
What the fuck?
Pneumonias, and they went through, and somebody actually got samples and tested it and said that it was bacteria and parasites in the fog.
What? So like
Yeah.
they're like injecting that shit? How?
Don't know.
Are
Don't
you
know.
spraying that into the atmosphere?
Don't know. And there's been people in several states complaining about this fog and people getting sick after going through this fog.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into this for real.
Yeah. So you got the fog thing going on, and then the rain here. Like I noticed this last week. Had just washed the car, and every time you wash the car, it seemed like it rained the same day you washed your car. Next morning, I got up, and I got a black truck, so of course it was like a white glaze all over my truck.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
It was like a white powdery glaze all over my truck.
That's crazy.
So, I was talking to some friends of mine that live up in the Midwest. They got hit with all this snow, and they was telling me how the snow wasn't clumping. Like they would grab a handful of snow and pull it.
Oh, and it wouldn't grab.
And it wouldn't even clump together.
Yep.
And they said it had like this weird consistency to it, and it had an odor to it. So there's different things that's been going on throughout. It's just that this is stuff that ain't nobody talking about though. They're not even reporting about it. Go ahead, Aaron. What you got, bud?
Okay. And this book that I have right here in my hands, okay, this discusses an experiment done on the American population off the coast of San Francisco. There was a destroyer out there that had a fog making machine on it. And in the early morning hours, a fog that was coming in off the water naturally, they had this giant mister fan that blew a low-level bacteria or contaminant into the fog. And the military was conducting an experiment to see if the fog would be thick enough and could carry this contaminant forward. Now, they said it would cause no ill effects. However, a couple people did die. Their bodies reacted to it in a negative way. But they found that fog can carry microorganisms ashore, and they measured how many miles into the shore it actually carried it. So fog can be used as a weapon as a delivery device. And that book proves it. I mean, if people want to Google it, you can probably Google it and look it up, but you will clearly see that they've experimented in that and found out fog will carry an agent.
Real quick, Jess White, thank you so much for the 5 gifted to not only me, you know, and it helps out me and the community, man. I very much help. Appreciate that. Very selfless. Thank you.
Yeah, that fog there. Like I said, I've been all congested ever since then, and it's been a few weeks, and that's one of the things that they were talking about, that people have been complaining about being congested and having these bronchitis / pneumonia type symptoms and stuff like that they can't seem to get rid of. You know what I mean? So like right now, if you go to the drugstore right now, a lot of these shells with cold medicine and like Mucinex, stuff like that, you're not gonna find it. It's gone because everybody's coughing. Everybody coughing.
I'm gonna have to look into this. Like, I'm sure there is huge stories that are like on the independent media side. I'm gonna look into that. You know, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know it was to that extent. Right now, like it's like that bad. I heard about some sort of fog that's foggy over there, but I didn't know it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Yeah,
no idea.
There's been several people that has came out in different states that they had took samples and had it checked, and it talked about certain degree of bacteria and parasite
How does that even fucking
in the
happen?
fog. Mm-hmm.
In the fog.
Yep.
Yeah, they showed at nighttime a person shined one of those 2,000 aluminum lights on the fog, and it looked like tiny little crystallines or something was just floating inside the fog. And you could only see it under intense bright light. And the person that did the video, it's on YouTube. There's like, look at this. You can see there's something in this fog. And I mean, you can't deny what your eyes are seeing. So
yeah, they've been showing that and some crystal-like stuff in the grass. It's like real lightweight, but it looks like crystal.
Crystal, and we're not talking like snow, like it's cold conditions, you know, type.
No, it looked like actual crystal. It was just landed. It was just scattered out in people's yards and stuff. From
what the fuck?
Yeah, there's some.
That's interesting.
They doing some crazy shit now, man. That they ain't being forthcoming about as to what exactly they're doing. You know what I mean? But like I said, so we got all this other stuff going on. You know what I mean? They're trying to get us on the health thing.
Everywhere.
They're hitting us with the processed food shit. Now they burning up people's houses and trying to flee everybody out of California now. You know what I mean? But like I'm still sitting here like kind of dumbfounded because along with did you hear about the one, what's the airplane that came from Canada, the Super Scoopers?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they had people out in had drones out, and like the plane hit one of them and it had the ground because it messed up the plane because it hit a drone. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Hit a drone. Yeah. So the plane had to turn around and land because it couldn't fly because it had hit a drone, and the drone had knocked one of the panels out in the wing.
Oh my god!
And he had to land because somebody out here with fucking drones.
Dude, that's exactly why. Man, that's crazy. That's why there's actual restrictions in air flights and just your routes and everything. For instance, when you have a normal civilian drone, there's a reason why you can't go above a certain altitude. You know, there's a reason for that. And then people go and buy those real expensive ones, and you can start breaking through and go right past that bitch and do anything you want. Listen, I have a few friends that have those drones that, I mean, you can go like, I forget the exact how far you can go with it, but you can go like 15 miles with the damn thing. It's like incredible. Like what are we doing with, technology now? This is crazy. But yeah, that's insane that unfortunately one of the rescue, planes that are trying to help us were damaging their shit. Not even from our own country shit. Like we're damaging Canada's shit now.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. But then, of course, the conspiracies that came out of that, you know what I mean? Now, they did say the thing about the DEW. Now, I did see a video where it looked like it did look like a big ass beam dropping on the ground. I thought I had it. I thought I had this thing, but I'm not quite sure. I think this is what this video is, but I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna show it in a minute. But like it went all the way down to, let me see. You heard about the destruction drones. You had the DEW. Then you had the developmental part, which they were trying to make the 15-minute cities and the mass for the super trains that they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard that they were this was a real far-fetched one, that they were that they were burning up the evidence so that way they couldn't get Diddy, so they was burning up everything.
No.
Right?
If anything, a whole bunch of billionaires are going, hey, let's go ahead and pay an arsonist, full, let's say 30 arsonists. We just hire them. And we just, as soon as it gets super fucking windy, just go out there, start a fucking fire, let it fucking, the wind is going to do its thing. And it's perfectly dry right there, so it's all going to burn. So, hey, we'll pay a whole bunch of these people so that we can just start buying up the land. I believe that over like some Diddy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's some way off
far-fetched
bullshit. You know what I mean? But did it actually burn his house though? Did it burn his house up?
I don't know.
I wonder. I didn't check that. I wonder if it did burn his house up.
I'm sure if it did, I would have saw it in like the mainstream media. You know what I mean? And also like social media, like, cause I'm on that thing all the time. And thank you again, Jess, for another 5. So now we're 10. So thank you very much for that.
Let's just say for the sake of argument that it did. Would the flames be green because it
wow,
burned up all the baby oil and shit?
Are you being for real straight?
Okay. I wonder what the flames was green from all that baby oil it burned up. Sometimes you get maybe it changed. Like, oh yeah, we know where that one is. We know whose house that is. Just went up. You know what? Let me try this right quick. I think I got the video about this damn laser though. I'm thinking it's what it is. If it's not,
if you have it, let's play it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Have you noticed how the LA fires always seem to hit specific areas? Here's a wild theory.
That's not it.
Didn't work.
No, that's not it.
Oh, it wasn't the one. Got you.
I had one. I could have swore I downloaded this video, but it was one where it showed like this beam, this big red beam, just boom, and you heard like this explosion once it hit the ground. I thought I had it. I was downloading it during the time that we was going back and forth.
I mean, you do so many videos, and then like sometimes we'll do some shows and we'll have like 7 that we didn't even see.
Yeah, I had this one.
I'm like, holy shit!
Right before the show started, when I was battling with the internet,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what it was.
Damn.
But yeah, I seen this one here when it was talking about that DEW, and it showed the plane that this direct energy weapon come from, and it showed how far it could shoot ahead and be able to hit a target, basically with laser point accuracy. And it showed this that one particular night there, you could see flames roaring everywhere, and you seen this big red beam come down, and you just heard this explosion, whatever it hit. But I thought that was it, man. I thought that was it.
That's crazy. That's crazy, though. You'll have to maybe you can text it to me later because I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there and find that one on there, man. But I was trying to download this thing yesterday, and like I said, it was.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, when you're in the middle of tech issues, man, there's nothing worse. That's why I was trying to tell you on the phone, like, bro, I know that feeling. Like, don't even worry about it. Just get here when you get here, because it's unfortunate, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's one of those things. There's nothing you can do. It's you're on some bullshit time right now with the internet or their time. You know what I mean? Like, you're usually on their bullshit time, and yeah, it's frustrating.
Oh, it definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So where we sitting at? We're sitting at 119. So we're gonna wind it down for the evening. Like I said, like always, thank everybody for coming out. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Send it to somebody. Share it to one person, if you would. But that like button, that's what puts the show on a higher algorithm, so we'll be able to show it out. We've been hopping this for well over a year now. You know what I mean? Hit the like button. It takes you literally 1 second. Hit the button. And also, like I said, we got the Diamond Effect store that we got up and running. Go on there, check it out. It's a lot of good stuff on there. And I think what we're gonna do is maybe every month we're gonna add something new to it. And then we also have the subscription on there as well. If you get the subscription, I think the subscription is like $2.99. But you can go on and you can get stuff that average people go on there to look for. They're not gonna be able to find, but you can find on that.
Right. It's like a exclusive paywall kind of thing. So it's
Exactly.
a really, really cool bonus.
Right. And then we're also going to start adding, like these little extra videos on here, stuff that we're not allowed to talk about, on YouTube. We're going to start putting on there. So if you go on www.thediamondeffectpodcast.com, we're going to start putting that stuff on there too. So when we start doing these shows and some stuff that we know that YouTube's going to flag, we're going to put it over there. So you'll be able to catch all that action. But that's for the subscription part. But like I said, go on there, check it out. Like I say, you put the promo code in, you get a 10%. If you're military, you get a discount as well. The first 10, I put a message out on the Facebook account. The first 10 that order, when you get your order and you take a picture and show that you actually have it, then we're gonna send you something free for
that's dope
for doing that.
Hell yeah.
So so go on there, www.thediamondeffectpodcast.com. We'll play a little commercial on it on the end here when everybody's done. And you can see, but it's like I said, it's a lot of stuff on there. Like the commercial only shows a little bit of stuff. There's a lot of stuff on there.
Right.
So so go on there and check it out. Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay, I'm just going to say again, when these type of disasters happen, when you wait to the last minute to do something, you're risking your family's life, you're risking your life. Have a plan and action. Discuss it with your family. Discuss it with your neighbors and friends. If there's an elderly person next door that can't get out, you might want to be nice enough to provide them with a ride to help them be able to get out of a situation. But like I said earlier in the show, one thing that never takes a day off or takes a vacation, that's responsibility. Responsibility is yours. Don't sit around and wait to the last minute to do anything. Get out in front of this so that when something goes down, you can immediately move into your plan and get your people to safety. Now, no one's saying you can't live your life and live a good life. But if you're ready for the worst case situation, then the good takes care of itself. And I'll stop there.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for not only this, commercial little break, but then also on my side, everybody, we're going to be rating Chris Lestrange. So stick around. Let them know that we're showing him some love. Guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely. That's the only thing that we ask of you guys. So with that being said, much love and respect, everybody. And we'll see you guys in 6 days, right? 6 days. So
6 days.
We'll see you guys.
Are you ready?